What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and today I'm back to bring you these 40 facts in the Warhammer 40K universe. Today we are doing yet another fan lore. This time it was sent to us by Spencer. So again, guys, if you guys have your own lore you want to send on over to us so we can review and showcase, send that on over to our Facebook page. That's probably the best place to reach us at, and it's probably the best place where it won't get swamped with all other entries. So again, guys, this is the fan chapter known as the Crimson Riders. So let's dive into this lore. So just a little alert, the names and there's a few other things in here that are based off of the Borderlands universe. So I guess you can say this is similar to a crossover. It is said that over 100 years ago, the Cadian 555th, the Atlas Marines, the Angels of Siren, and a group of assassins became legends to the Imperium. The four leaders, Commander Edward Dow, Lillian the Siren, Chapter Master Tiberius, and Vindicare Assassin Jackson met with the Emperor. What was discussed we do not know. Seeing them as a rival to their power, the High Lords of Terra sent them to Pandora, a system that seemed to have value to the forces of chaos, to see if it was habitable. Alongside a massive group of Adeptus Mechanicus troops, they disappeared beyond the Tau Empire, not to be seen again, until now, of course. After 100 long years, the new faction, calling themselves the Crimson Raiders, had gained armies of not only former guardsmen from various planets, but space marines from various other soldiers, as well as various factions in the Imperium. They were being led by four legends mentioned earlier, now calling themselves the Vault Hunters. The Imperium allowed them to go on as they helped relieve them of some of the Chaos forces that they fought. Their goal was simple, to defeat the forces of Chaos and their allies. The Imperium allowed them to go on as they helped relieve them of some of the Chaos forces that they fought against. Their goal was simple, to defeat the forces of Chaos and their allies, as well as to restore peace and order to the galaxy and beyond. The uniforms used by the Crimson Raiders have the armor or main feature colored red or yellow. They use a fair-sized fleet of ships to move throughout the galaxy, and they welcome soldiers that have been rejected by the Imperium or are on the verge of joining Chaos, or Chaos agents that want out, into their ranks. That's how they grow, by taking the people no one else will. Instead of furthering humanity's ambitions, they tried to unite the forces of order against the forces of chaos, while keeping the armies of chaos at bay with their ever-growing military. The Crimson Raiders are the heroes in a galaxy of war and death. They seek to bring peace and order to this world of chaos, and they will fight to the death to turn back the chaotic forces that threaten this order. While preferring not to fight against Xenos that the Imperium usually wages war with, they will engage in combat with threats such as the Necrons, the Tyranids, and very rarely, even if they have to, the Eldar and the Tau. They do specialize in fighting against Chaos, as it is part of the Crimson Raiders' rules to defend against any Chaos threat, no matter which race is under that threat. However, they will resist if the Imperium forces attack them, to save themselves, that is. Simply, they don't provoke a fight unless it's to fight Chaos. The bulk of their forces are from the Imperial Guard, primarily from Cadian soldiers that wish to get revenge on the forces of Chaos. While willing to work with the Imperium, Tau, and Eldar forces, they prefer to work alongside the Farside Enclave, as the beliefs of both the majority of Raiders and the Enclave are more humane and righteous than that of other factions. In fact, many gue'vesa and Tau regiments can be found throughout the forces of the Raiders. On their primary planet, Pandora Prime, the Crimson Raiders, or the former Imperial Guard and other humans, use this as their base. Its moon, Epsilon 5, is home to the headquarters of Edward Dow, who commands all forces that fight under the banner of the Crimson Raiders. Pandora Staria, near the edge of the system, is the Forge World that provides war materials exclusively to the Crimson Raider force. Closer to the system's sun is the home of the Atlas Marines. They use it as a recruitment world as well as a massive training camp. Epsilon 3 is the moon where the assassins under Master Jackson, as well as the Angels of the Siren, or the former Adeptus Sororitas, reside, as neither are large enough to warrant holding an entire planet to keep their forces. and on the outermost planet of the system, the Hyperion Syndicate has discovered an abundance of rare minerals known as iridium on this planet, from which the Crimson Raiders use as a replacement for promethium, plasma, and various other energy sources that are rare in this system. The Pandora system lies beyond the Tau Empire on the edge of the eastern fringe, and because of this they have only had one major war on their home front, known as the First Pandoran War, where the Tau Empire tried to take over the system, but were pushed back by the efforts of the Crimson Raiders. After this war, the Tau and the Raiders have been on friendly terms with one another. The 4 Vault Hunters often work as a squad, as they find this to be the most effective way to blow up bases, steal supplies, and kill targets. However, when war calls for it, they won't hesitate to use their armies at their disposal to fight chaos and defend their system. They work with the likes of many factions, and Edward Dow speaks for most of his men and quotes each of the factions they have fought alongside with. They're determined, the armies of the Imperium. They do their job. If only they were blinded by their fate no more. I am sure they would be the greatest force of order in the galaxy. The Eldar are great war fighters. They are a very reasonable race, and we have traded many secrets, including allowing them to access us into the webway in exchange for shipments of iridium. If only they weren't bent over, stuck-up pricks that focus on kissing their own asses, they might actually make a difference. The Tau are orderly, to say the least. A little too orderly. Their tech is by far the most advanced out of the entire galaxy, and we will use it when we can. However, they are very limited by their caste system and the lack of psychers. If they would focus more on the galaxy rather than their own empire, I would ascertain them surpassing the Imperium in the near future. Commander Farsight, a good friend and an even better tactician. When not meeting on the battlefield, we often discuss either plans for the next assault or debate whose strategies are better. I believe we are 28 to 25, and yes, I am in the lead. His enclaves to the Tau Empire are the Crimson Raiders to the Imperium, groups of renegade saviors that serve no master, living freely amongst equals. And now we come to Chapter Master Tiberius of the Atlas Marines. While having the size and armor of a modern Primaris Marine, he is one of the oldest and arguably one of the wisest Space Marines to live. His size is a mutation that resulted from his body mixing with genetic modifications. After being trained to become a Space Marine, he was put into a standard tactical squad and excelled in his duties. When the second founding occurred, Tiberius, who had become a quiet advisor of Guilliman's, became the chapter master of the Atlas Marines and set up their home planet, Anatilia. Many millennia later, he met Edward Dow when he was just a White Shield. When they were separated along with the Vindicare assassin Jackson from their main force, these 3 warriors would go on to kill a Chaos Marine in Terminator armor, with Edward delivering the final blow by stabbing his enchantment shovel into the traitor's throat, causing him to choke on his own blood. After Edward's promotion to general, the chapter master and the commander formed an alliance, one that would come to aid each other if either was in trouble. The forces of the Forge World of Hyperia were included in this alliance, as well as the Vindicare assassin Jackson and several other assassins. This pact was put into practice around the time the fall of Cadia occurred. Due to an accusation of heresy, Atilsia was destroyed, forcing the Atlas Marines to wander space until they arrived at the Pandorian system. Now, many events in Imperial history are known by different names within the Crimson Raiders, like the Golden Age of Advancement, which was known as the Dark Age of Technology. This mainly serves to show the difference in beliefs between the Imperium and the Raiders, where the Adeptus Mechanicus forbids advancements, the Syndicate reverse engineers Tau and Eldar tech to use for their own purposes. And that concludes the lore on the Crimson Raiders. Now, I know earlier I said it was like a Space Marine chapter. I thought they were going to do a little bit more of a, like they're going to have a bigger role in it, but I guess it just covers the entirety of this force of Marines. You know, you got guardsmen, you got assassins, and that's pretty cool. I really like that whole concept of having a kind of like a rogue trader just getting a whole bunch of forces together and going across the galaxy. This time he's doing it for the good of, I guess, the Imperium, because I mean they are fighting chaos. So again, guys, let me know what you guys think about this fan lore, and if you guys have your own, send it on over. I'm sure Spencer would appreciate any comments, any critiques, anything you like, you dislike, down in the comments below. So again, let him know. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for today. I'm the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.